everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cup of Joe. I'm Liz Roesel with C-Level Social, and I'm joined by Joe Pettit of Joe Pettit Inspires and Kern Halls of Ingenious Culinary Concepts. And if you've been watching, we are actually in the middle of a 7-part series about the virtues of a school nutrition leader. But we have just been far too excited, and the steam was kind of rolling one way. So we're giving you this kind of bonus episode right in the middle, but then we'll jump right back over to those virtues. So in the last episode, we talked about the talents and virtues that it takes to build a team. And previously, before that, we talked about trust and vulnerability. So that's what makes it so great. We get to choose what these topics are on, and we can adjust as needed to best serve you. And so that's what we're doing. So building off of the team builder virtue is we're going to talk about the key characteristics of hiring staff. Very excited to bring this topic to you. And with that, I'll pass it over to Kern.
Yeah, hiring staff. Thank you, Liz. Thank you, Joe. So this is week 2. I got the microphone going first, right? So we're going to have some fun. So hiring staff is something that I really believe in, for hiring the right people. And before even my faults, I thought that I want to get it done right, got to do it myself type concept. And I noticed that it caused me a lot of sleepless nights and a lot of working, right? So we have to figure out and see okay, what's the best way to get the right people in the right places. So I had to look at all my weaknesses. Where am I weak at? I'm not the data entry person. So I need a person with detail oriented, that can take care of one thing. Person that's great with numbers, putting together spreadsheets, or good at accounting, that's another thing. And you have to find all those right people. When I see sometimes, Joe, is that people hire people based on either their longevity within the district or their friendship they have in the district, and not so much of the skill set. So what do you say about that when you're hiring a person that, I don't want to put you in a spot about your district, but let's just talk in general, because I want you to have your job come Monday.
Thank you. I do too. Hopefully this, I'm not sure when this will be airing, but I need to really, because we pre-record these sessions, I need to make sure I know when this one airs so that the person who watches this, because I know people from my district watch it, so I need to make sure I'm ready to answer all questions. No, I believe if you really want to move a state agency, if you want to move, and by state agency, I mean not the State Department, but actually like a district, a government agency, I should say. If you want to be able to move it forward, then you have to start looking at what the competition does. So when you look at corporations, they have it down to a science. I mean, they don't miss a beat when it comes to let me get my thoughts together on that. They don't miss a beat in the sense that they know what they're looking for, but then they also don't miss a beat because they can also reward you, not based off your tenure, but they base it off your performance. And so I'm talking a little bit more about performance than I am about hiring. But the fact is that we hire people based off, I remember somebody, and I won't put the chef's name out there, but he posted in a group, he says, when will districts start hiring directors or someone that's based more off of what they can do and their attitude at doing it more than off of their credentials, meaning RD, a Master of Science, SNS, whatever. And I'm saying that all those things are good, hear me. But district puts so much emphasis on a certificate, a degree, than they do on what the person and the potential of letting them be creative. I believe so often, if school districts will really hear me out, now this isn't for school nutrition directors, maybe it is, but you really have to allow the person to blossom and be who they are, because as Steve Jobs says before, I hired you to let you make the decisions and the choices for yourself. I didn't hire you to put you in a box. I hired you to be creative, and don't put so much emphasis on credentials when the person can bring that same type of knowledge and growth to really serve your students and your communities a little bit better.
Yeah, Liz, so what are some of the things that you look at for hiring, and you think is that, kind of like Joe said, is there a specific skill set that you think the director should look for?
It's things we've talked about before, being coachable, not really necessarily having all the skill sets immediately, but, being coachable and going along with that. But I think a big part of it, and I think to your point, Joe, about corporations knowing how to hire, so much of it now is your personality and how you can mold with the culture. So that's not just the corporate world that's looking for that. We want to make sure that you're going to fit in with the, and it's not about fitting in, but being able to work with the team. So I do lean a lot to personality and attitude. And you guys tell me if I'm wrong, but you know, you don't have to, like we've also talked about, you don't want to necessarily hire somebody because you think, oh, I could be friends with them, but will they fit with the team? So I do lean a lot to personality and work ethic. I mean, I'm the type that's like, all right, if things get, and this would be perfect for COVID, right? I mean, things got dicey and everybody was working way more than usual. You know, a lot were that were doing summer feeding, or they're working different hours. I like flexibility too. Like, can you be willing to put in the hard work when needed, knowing that, you know, that we will be flexible. So those are big for me, is personality and flexibility.
Definitely. And I think just my 2 cents. I think sometimes when we look at hiring, especially in K through 12, we're just trying to put a body in the kitchen because they're short, put anybody in there. And I was like, no, we need to get the right skill set, right? So for myself personally, when I started in school food service, I was literally like 2 months away from finishing my degree. But I couldn't get hired for the certain position because I didn't have a degree. So I was hired at another position. 2 months later, I got my degree, but I had the right skill set to get all this stuff being done. And so I believe when some hiring things, and we can talk later on about hiring tips or whatever, but I came to the interview with solutions. Like, you know, it was just, to me, I look at that as, even as an entrepreneur and the people that I hire in my company, where are you coming to me with solutions? Like, I don't want to hear about the problems. We got a lot of problems every single day, but if you did have a problem, here's the solution to it, and this is how I took care of it. Not really waiting for approval. So I look at all those different things when I try to hire people, that making sure that they have the right skill set, the right attitude, and you're able to move forward. And are you really passionate about what you're doing? Because feeding students and being in food and beverage all together takes a big toll on you. But Joe, Liz, I'm gonna let you all wrap this up and kind of go from there.
Yeah, I think just the last thought, again, as I want to repeat it over and over and over, is that the attitude is everything. How they come in, are they coachable? We keep saying that. That's come up several times now, but really, that's still a skill that can be developed. But I need you to come in with a little bit of those type of skills. I can teach you knife skills if you're coachable, right? But if you have the knife skills and you're not coachable, then I can't tell you that you shouldn't hold it this way, or I can't tell you how it's going to be in K-12, because in the restaurant, you may have gotten your knives sharpened every week. Well, that may not go down in K-12. You know what I mean? So I need you to be coachable on the multi-uses of a serrated knife. You know, I'm just being silly, but the fact is that I need you to be coachable more than anything else. And don't tell me that you're coachable. One of the ways that this is kind of the call to action, and I stole this from my days with Red Lobster, is what we would do when we would hire someone is that we would give them a diagram. So this is what the plate needs to look like. I mean, it needed Red Lobster to have the crab legs here and the lobster tail here and the scampi and the fried shrimp here and the baked potato here. This is how it had to be laid out on the plate every single time. So you would give them a picture of the plate, give them the dissected pieces with a little Velcro on it. They had 10 seconds to put it together, okay? You would watch how they work under pressure, and then you would watch how they were trying to go through what you told them. And it never failed. Somebody said, I think it should go here. You're not coachable. I just told you how to do it. So something that you can do is implement in your hiring process, right? At least in your onboarding and your new hire training, an actual little activity where you can see them work under pressure and actually take instructions. And I believe that'll go a long, long way in how long you keep them and how successful they are with you.
I really like that. And to tie it all up in a bow, SNIC 2020, Chris Burkhart up in Cleveland had a great session about using video for training. But a big takeaway was for someone like me that's not in food service, that I took away from it was that that consistency was an issue. And so using video and stuff helped his team be consistent for instance, in preparing a menu item. So same point to you, Joe, that you were really kind of tiptoeing around without saying the word consistency, was that coachable means consistency for your team, especially when you have multiple schools and then everything is plated and looks the same. And then you're managing your customers' expectations back over to you, Kern, and your strengths. So that's perfect. I love it. As sorry that we did bring back some old Cup of Joe points, I think, in that one. We were honing in on the old one, but that's still absolutely applicable. And if you have a topic, I think this episode is the perfect example of it. If you have a topic that you want to hear about, want to learn more, just let us know in the comments. We would love to make one, especially, you know, for you if you have a specific question about motivating your team, making sure they're coachable, things like that. We'd love to hear your feedback and what you want to hear. So with that, stay tuned next week for another episode as we continue the virtues of a school nutrition leader. And thank you so much, Joe and Kern.
Thank you.